Hello, friends, and welcome to the 5-day coach sneak peek group, or what is coaching, etc. You could call it whatever you want. But I wanted to welcome you all. I wanted to also thank all of you coaches for inviting your friends to this group, because that means that you care about them. And those of you who are in here that are checking it out for the first time, someone cares about you enough to share this opportunity with you. Now, if it's for you, fantastic. We welcome you. If it's not for you, then that is perfectly fine. But what I want you to do is I want you to give it this week and really check it out. And I know life gets in the way and it gets busy. If that's the case, then make sure to reach out to the person who invited you and let them know that you haven't been able to catch up. And they will make sure that you have the information that you need to make an educated decision on whether this is for you or not. About me, my name is Anna Gray. Maybe you had seen my pinned post that I set up there a couple days ago, just to kind of give you an idea of my ugly cry and where I came from. It was a little bit long, but for me, I am by trade a registered nurse. You can see here I'm sitting in my home office. I am a full-time Beachbody coach now. I will say that I absolutely love nursing, and I did when I became a coach. So never thought that I would be, in the beginning, never thought I would be a full-time Beachbody coach and that I would leave my nursing career. Hello, I worked so hard for it. So when I joined as a coach, I really joined for the discount and accountability. See, I at one point was 205 pounds and really struggled over the years with my weight. I suffered from infertility, lots of hormones. We went through in vitro. So, I ballooned up. I was very miserable, very uncomfortable. I found a solution. And before I was even done with my first round of P90X, which was just about 6 years ago, I decided to become a coach because I did not want to fall back in my old ways, be the person I used to be. Here I had found myself. I had found the energy. I was working full-time hours. I was working 4 10-hour shifts, and my commute was 45 minutes each way. So you can imagine, I left early, I came home late, I rarely saw my kids, but I was able to fit my workouts in late at night, and I thought, well, you know what? I can get a discount on my Shakeology. I can have the accountability because people are watching me. I'm already talking about what I'm doing because I'm getting results. So that's really what I became a coach. Now, just being in the business for a very short period of time, before we had tools and training and all of this amazing stuff that we have now, I was surrounded by incredibly supportive people who only wanted me to succeed. And so when you're surrounded by that, you realize what else is out there. Now, I was at a hospital. I worked as a clinical informatics nurse my last round. I was an operating room nurse for 10 years. But my last round, I was a clinical informatics nurse, and I worked in the basement, and I worked with a bunch of guys that were IT guys. And I really lost that communication and that fun of talking to people and enjoying that company, and really people that lift you up. So I was surrounded by these people who lifted me up and made me feel good, and I was reaching my physical goals, and I thought, you know what, I would love to be surrounded by these people all the time. So I started looking in more and more about what this business opportunity really was, and I started to see success because I was just inviting people to do what I was doing. At the time, we only had a few programs. And Shakeology, if you haven't heard of Shakeology, you'll hear more about it, but Shakeology had just come out, so no one knew about it. And so I was just sharing what I was doing. And then I started to see success, and I realized, wait a minute, okay, there's something about this. Fast forward to 4 years into the business, and I walked away from my day job making 6 figures because I was missing my kids, and I realized that I could be surrounded by people who cared about me, who cared about my success. I could be in a great mood every day. I could be a good influence on my kids. My daughters are now 11 and 8. We adopted them as babies when they were babies from China, and they are my, imagine 6 years of infertility, 2 international adoptions. They are my world, and I was missing them. And I realized when all of my friends in this business were doing this full time, and they were spending time with their kids, and they're posting pictures of family time, and I was missing that. So I realized for myself, that that's what I was missing. I loved my career. I loved helping people, but here was an opportunity where I could help people reach their goals, work with the people that really wanted help, and be a good influence on my kids and be home with my kids. So I had set that goal after being in the business for probably 6 months. I had set the goal to do this full time. I didn't know when I was going to be doing it full time, but I knew at some point I would. So 4 years into the business, which is kind of a long time nowadays, it's like a year, 2 years before people can make that same amount of income. If you work really hard, it's about a 2.5 year mark. If you work really hard, it's totally doable. And I could have left my job in about 2.5 years if we had the tools that we have now. So I just kept thinking, well, what's going to happen in the next 5 years? I'm going to grow older anyways. So I might as well be surrounded by successful people, be inspired. And guess what? That's what happened. So I've been home with my kids, doing this full time, traveling, having fun with my kids for over a year now. August was a year. So we're going to go on 2-year mark, which is crazy for me to believe that. But I wanted to just give you an insight of at the beginning, I really just wanted a discount and wanted the accountability. And I loved my job. I worked for 20 years for that job. I worked really, really hard until I realized that I could set my own destiny. Now, being in that environment, that clinical informatics environment, I'm really grateful that I had this opportunity about 3 years in. There were 2 of us. My counterpart had been laid off. And the only reason they kept me was that I was a registered nurse and my counterpart was not. Now, that being said, they were moving things up to the corporate office, which was hours and hours away, and I would have to relocate at some point. So if I hadn't been working on this business, chances are that if I hadn't made the first move and left, that they would have made the move for me and had me leave. And then I would be searching for a job. You just never know. Clinical informatics, that's a big thing right now. But it's also something that can be you could be doing remote. So I made the choice to live out my destiny, to live out my passion, to make the choice before somebody else made the choice for me. And I can tell you over all of these years, I have very, very good friends that have lost their jobs, that wish that they had a plan B, and some of them that had to walk away from their jobs because they were laying people off, who, thank goodness for this business, was able to stay home and work this business full time. So you know what? For me, a plan B, whatever that plan B may be for you, for me, thank goodness for this business. For you, it may be this business. It may be something else. Whatever, my goal is to tell you to have a plan B. And this is coming from a professional who you just never know. Registered nurse, you could have a job forever, but you could also not. So why not help others, be healthy, be fit, work on yourself. We'll talk more about that, but I just wanted to share a little bit about me, who I am. I'm just this real person who doesn't do their hair and wears sweats. I worked out this morning. And I'm working on myself, and I'm encouraging my friends and my coaches to work on themselves because I want them to be happy. I want you guys to be happy as well. So again, I welcome you. I look forward to getting to know you. Please, please, please ask questions in this group. I will make it a point to keep there's going to be a file section. So the post will be located in that files section. If you're on your phone, you can click on the little banner above and you can find the file section that way. If you're on your computer, there's a file section button. So if you get lost, let's just say you can't come back in here till Wednesday and you just feel lost, just find that file section and that will guide you along what's been going on in the last week. So I encourage you to ask questions. That's what we're here for. And that's it. Have a great week.